Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin,
Dana.
and if you can't tell by what's behind us, we're on to part 3 of the garden improvement. So today, what's the plan?
We're gonna remove all the garden fence and then hopefully weed out the stuff between the raised beds so we kind of start with more of a clean slate before we put weed barrier down and more stone.
Yeah, so when we built the original beds, we put wood chips and all kinds of stuff, and as Dana was weeding the garden, she just kind of dropped them in the aisleways, so they kind of built up.
I was a lazy weeder. I just weeded it and threw it on the ground.
Yep, so we're hoping we can dig out between the beds, get it down a little bit lower, and then put the stone on. We'll see. It's really hot today.
95 degrees
Yep.
is what it feels like. High
Plus,
humidity.
Yep.
So it's a little brutal today. Not sure how far we're gonna get, but
Well, let's get started.
sounds good.
So the first thing I need to do is pull all the staples out of the gate that Dana had made. This was always just a temporary gate, and it ended up being a little more than temporary. I think we've had it for 3 years now. But anyway, now that we're redoing the fence, we'll end up putting a new gate in. But like I said, first we need to pull all the staples, and when you have a pneumatic staple gun, you put a lot of staples in because it's easy to do. So quite a few staples to pull. I apologize for some of the wider angles in this video. It was a really hot day, and we were having issues with cameras overheating, so we had to set them up in the shade. So we weren't able to get as many up-close shots of taking the fence down as we would have liked. Now that I got all the staples removed, I can remove the gate, starting with the swinging part and just unscrewing the hinges, followed by pulling out the posts. The posts are not in very deep. We did put a board across the bottom of them, so when we buried the posts, the board would kind of help hold them in place, so it's kind of perpendicular to the post coming up. I didn't feel like digging them out, so we're just going to manhandle these things until the screws break and pull out the post. Now it's time to remove all the rest of the fencing and all the T-posts. Dana's going ahead of me and cutting all the zip ties and metal tie wires, and then I'm following behind, ripping the T-posts out and getting the fence untangled from all the weeds that have grown up about 3 foot tall. So now that we got the fencing removed from that section of the garden, we can go ahead and start trying to remove all the wood chips and weed debris that is in between the garden beds. So you may be wondering why I'm on a smaller red tractor. Well, my Kubota has a 5-foot bucket on it, and it does not fit between the garden beds. We made the garden beds 4 foot apart. So I asked my neighbor how wide his bucket was. He said 48 inches, 4 foot. So I asked if we could borrow his bucket because my tractor will fit between the beds, but the bucket won't. So we went over there, tried to fit the bucket, it didn't fit. So my neighbor, being really nice, said, well, why don't you just take my tractor over there, see if you can get it between the beds, and if it'll work for you. So we brought it back, tried it out, and got really excited because it looks like it's gonna work. And then we tried it in a couple different spots, and wouldn't you know, it didn't fit. But I want to give a big thank you to our neighbor for letting us use his tractor. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Well, since the smaller tractor didn't work and it's just way too hot to shovel, we moved on to removing the last section of the fence. And these T-posts are a little bit bigger and a little bit deeper, so I'm not going to pull them out by hand. We'll use the big orange T-post puller. Now we just roll up this last piece of fence, and the garden fencing is out. Now with all the fencing out of the way, we can move on to getting some more of the area prepped for plastic and gravel, we need to get Cadence's little flower bed here out of the way first though, so we can get plastic underneath it. Every year Cadence gets really excited about planting flowers, and that's as far as she gets. She gets the seeds in the ground, and that's it. There's no weeding. Very rarely does she water, which is fine. We still want her to be excited about gardens, so we're gonna come up with a new solution for a new flower bed for Cadence. We're just not sure what that is yet. Now I'll just take the tractor and I will clean up this pile of dirt. I'll also go around and scrape around the beds, trying to get as much of the wood chips and debris as possible with the tractor, so I don't have to do as much digging later, because nobody wants to do more digging than they need to.
Well, I think that's gonna probably do it for today. It's just too hot.
Oh my goodness, it's way too hot. We're in Wisconsin, it shouldn't be this hot.
No. But we got something done. I mean, we got the fence pulled down. We got around the outside edge of the gardens cleaned up with all the mulch and stuff. So the rest of it's gonna have to be dug out by hand, and it is too hot to do that.
Yeah, we're not doing that today. I can't do that.
No. So when we did get a pretty good pile back there, if you can see it, and that's gonna be it for us today. I'm done.
I'm done. But it feels good. You can kind of see the layout, how all the stone's gonna go, the new fence. So it feels good to see progress being made.
Yep. So, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. We got a lot more garden work to do. So, got that to look forward to. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.